Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. Thank you for being here today on this beautiful Monday afternoon. We have some fun stuff to share with you today about being an introvert, which a lot of photographers are, just naturally. But man, there are some advantages to being an introvert. We'll talk about those today. My name is Jim Landers, and my mission, well, it's simple. I help portrait photographers, just like you, make a great income doing what they love. Each week, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to gain a mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face so you can finally get what you deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. Well, today we're talking about the 12 advantages of being an introvert. Before I get into the details of that, I want to encourage you to make comments and post questions. But I want you to start by giving StreamYard permission. You see that going across your screen right now. When you give StreamYard permission to use your name, I get to see who you are. It's kind of like registering, so I know that you exist. Otherwise, if you make a comment, it will show me the comment, but it'll say Facebook user. So if you want to remain anonymous, that's the way to do it. Don't click that link. Now, that link is at the top of this post. So if you go to the top of the post where it announces what it is, at the bottom of that, it's give StreamYard permission. You may have to click the more in order to see it. Those little three dots that say more to see it, but that's where you find it. You click on that, and it gives you permission for me to be able to see your name. So, click on that as soon as you get a chance, and do me a favor. Let me know that you're watching live. So enter in hashtag live. Now, if you're not watching live, if you're watching this later, then enter in hashtag replay. But for those of you who are watching right now, enter in hashtag live. Hashtag live. And I encourage you, in addition to making comments and asking questions, to hit that like button, hit that love button on whatever you think it works for you, whatever it touches you. I want you to let me know by hitting that like button and hitting that love button. So, hey, Rick. Hey, Robin. Good to see you guys. Rick and his son or grandson was at the annual San Antonio Youth Photography Tournament last night. So, good to see you, Rick. There we go. Hey, Rick. All right, so the 12 advantages of being an introvert. And I'll come back to that in a second. All right. Being an introvert is an advantage. I know how that sounds. The statement doesn't seem right. And for those of us who identify as an introvert, we don't feel like it's an advantage at all. But it's true. And I can't wait to share this with you right now so that you can start taking advantage of your advantages. Introverts are often considered shy, weird, antisocial, insecure, quirky, sometimes even unpleasant or high on themselves. They're sometimes criticized for their lack of engagement. And of course, their outgoing cousins, the extroverts, seem like everything comes easy for them. With their popularity, they seem to get all the attention they crave, and it seems like they get all of the business. And we're left with the crumbs. Only extroverts can succeed as a business owner who does their own sales. That's why it's easier for extroverts to be successful photographers. Introverts are emotionally flawed and socially inept. I mean, you must be an aggressive, outgoing, fearless, gregarious excitement seeker, right? No, none of that is true. There may be more successful introvert photographers than there are successful extrovert photographers. I don't know. But after hearing today's presentation, you may see what I see. And that's introverts can seriously excel in portrait photography. You may think that introverts are shy, people haters, weighed down by social anxiety. The truth is that you are more likely to find extroverts who are people haters than introverts who are. That's because of an introvert's natural tendency for empathy. An introvert loves people until an individual gives them a reason not to. Introverts aren't always quiet and shy. What makes them better suited for a photography business is their natural ability to listen, to observe, to empathize, which is perfect because a photography business is about listening, making thoughtful decisions, solving problems, and getting things done with both the client and your interests in mind. There are ways, in addition to speaking out and standing up, that cause people to be successful in their endeavors. The ability to appreciate and feel comfortable with moments of solitude is very helpful as an entrepreneur. I know it seems like extroverts have it easy, and in a few ways that is true. But knowing these 12 introvert advantages that I'm about to share with you, and then strategically using them, is going to give you an advantage over those introverts. I'm going to discuss each advantage in detail, but let me start off first by just listing them. The first, creative thinkers and problem solvers. The second advantage, passionate about their ideas. Third, great writers. Number 4, observant. Number 5, calm. Number 6, good listener. Number 7, empathetic. Number 8, think before speaking. Number 9, quality friends. The 10th advantage is self-motivating. 11, good at building business relationships. And then finally, number 12, compassionate leadership. So we're going to go over each one of those, beginning with number 1, creative thinkers are problem solvers. Creativity is normal for introverts. Add in that they're natural problem solvers who cannot help themselves but contemplate, organize thoughts, be detailed, and get things done, so their creativity is just naturally enhanced. This also makes them better at learning, it makes them better at emotional intelligence, and even things such as risk management. Because introverts spend more time reflecting on their own thoughts and experiences, introverts are also more likely to have a clear understanding of their own preferences and values. As a result, they can make decisions more confidently and are less likely to second-guess themselves. Number 2, passionate about their ideas. You've heard the saying, lit a fire under someone, or lit a fire under me, meaning that someone motivated you to take action. For an introvert, a person could light a fire under them, but their idea alone is often all that an introvert needs to go forward with a huge amount of attention and do whatever it takes to learn how to make their idea become reality. In fact, an introvert can get so energized by their idea that somehow they morph into an extrovert, at least by perception of others. They will talk to others who can who can help them. They create alliances. They will even do what only the extroverts can do. Work a room at a networking event. More on that advantage, number 11, because the way that introverts work a room or network is different. So it's one, we're going to talk about that more in advantage number 11. All right, advantage number 3. Introverts are great writers. Now, let me tell you why, because I know not everyone feels this way. Because of the advantages listed already, introverts make great writers because they are creative thinkers and problem solvers. They're passionate about their ideas. And add in that they are natural at organizing, and they are perfectly suited to putting their thoughts and ideas into detailed writing. This is an advantage when it comes to writing copy, crafting emails, responding to questions from their prospects and clients. Now let's talk about introvert advantage number 4, observant. For those who've never seen me at a board meeting that I'm not in charge of, they may be surprised to see that I am silent. I will speak up a bit, but for the most part, I am quiet. An introvert sits quietly, does not say much, but takes the information in like a sponge, processing, thinking things through in their mind, thinking critically about the conversation and what it means, evaluating behavior, communication, and reactions, paying attention to things others are likely to miss, including body language and facial expressions, little interactions between others, as well as noticing these observational qualities in others and giving them space when needed. These qualities make communication between individuals better because more time is invested into paying attention. Now, let's move into introvert advantage number 5. And this is calm. Introverts are cool cats. They're calm, they're cool, they're collected. The ones who, when faced with a difficulty, seek to understand so that they can find out if they may be able to solve the problem. Even when stressed, they understand that emotions make things worse and cloud quality judgment. There are those who strongly believe that they are introverts. But those who are easily triggered and lose the ability to be a critical thinker, even when mildly stressed, don't fit the mold of an introvert very well. Even when the introvert gets stressed, they hold it together. They maintain composure, at least for a time. It usually takes a continued push to get them to show their emotions. And if you get them to show it, you may have caused a problem. Because when they show it, they can just plain lose it. And you'll think they're the problem for losing it because they've really lost it at that point. Although there are not always obvious signs along the path, it usually does take a while for them to get to the point where they're showing those emotions. The problem for the person observing the introvert is that the introvert has remained calm up to that point. So you don't notice that it took a while for them to get upset. You were totally unaware because they held back showing those emotions. But rest assured, if an introvert is showing you their emotions, it didn't just happen suddenly. There was a buildup. You just missed it. An introvert would have noticed because they are paying attention to body language and facial expressions, because they have empathy, because they listen with the intent to understand. The extroverts do show their emotions. They show that they are upset, and it's usually pretty obvious and pretty quick. They tend to not hold back very much unless it's beneficial and popular to do so. After all, they really care about how they're viewed by the group they identify with. Introverts know when to back off, but not everyone can tell that they did. Only other introverts. They back off to evaluate the situation, listen to what is said and observe, and deduce what is unsaid. In their mind, in the introvert's mind, they are grounded and they are stable. Let's talk about introvert advantage number 6. And before I do that, I'm going to check the comments to see if there's... good. So I appreciate you saying that, William. And I'm curious. I want to visit with you afterwards about what it is that you've done, your experiences. Thank you, Mark, for being here. Thank you, Miguel, for being here. I want to encourage you guys that as you watch, enter in. I love that. That's funny. I want you to enter in hashtag live so that I know you're watching live. If you're watching this as the replay, please enter in the hashtag replay. That way I know when you're watching it. All right, so back to number 6. This is introvert advantage number 6. Good listener. In portrait photography, you know that you must convey your message well and listen to your prospects and your clients. An introvert's natural ability to listen with intent to understand causes them to be fantastic listeners, giving their clients their undivided attention, which builds understanding, builds trust, and greatly reduces the potential for misunderstanding. While there are exceptions because of individual situations, introverts tend to be good listeners, especially when someone simply needs a listening ear, because they tend to just listen rather than making it about them. They listen. They don't speak unless they feel they have something important to say. They remain calm. They remain level-headed. They process the information quietly in their mind and empathize, thinking about it from the other person's point of view. They may or may not share their point of view. And although they will, they do not always feel compelled to share or talk about themselves. This is great when working with clients and employees. The best small business owners listen intently in all situations, including with clients, with employees, with vendors, with alliances, and so many others. While they may be vocal about their ideas, They are open to and enthusiastically encourage feedback. By contrast, extroverts just want to jump in, even if it's in the middle of an activity or conversation. But don't misunderstand this extrovert as being selfish or rude. They're not. That's not their intent. They're thinking, they're not thinking that they're better than you. They just gain energy by being a part of what's going on. And we all seek the things that strengthen us. We just might view it as rude when they interrupt. An introvert pays attention to everything said and unsaid, mulling it over in their mind, and then responding with thoughtfulness and empathy. They are cognizant of the influence of their response and their actions on others. They understand how interrupting or hijacking a conversation is disruptive to understanding, and they do not want to be perceived as self-centered or as having not listened. They also understand that listening causes them to be able to learn better and be able to respond with understanding and empathy. Speaking of empathy, let's move on to introvert advantage number 7. Introverts are empathetic. This natural tendency to be empathetic allows introverts to communicate more effectively because we're able to put ourselves in our clients' shoes and understand where they are coming from, which makes it easier to find common ground, build rapport, build compassionate relationships, and anticipate our clients' needs and wants. This helps us to provide them with the best possible experience, something that we truly care about as photographers and as introverts. We care about a quality experience for those who spend time with us. We're able to see the world from multiple perspectives, not just our own. And we feel deeply for others. This creates a strong bond between us. Now, we've done 7 of the 12, so I'm hoping they're at least starting to see your introverted tendencies are your greatest asset. You have advantages. Those of you who are watching who don't identify as introverts, can you see why adopting some of these introvert traits could be advantageous? Of course. Now, of course, there's overlap with everything. The things that I'm listing are just common. That doesn't mean that introverts have every single one of these things. It doesn't mean that extroverts don't have some of these things. It doesn't mean that. There's a huge amount of overlap. We are generally, there's very few people who are all one or the other. And of course, you've got the ambiverts and the omniverts. So there are different types, but I'm just bringing up to keep things simple. I do find myself more in the ambivert side than I do on introvert, but I definitely have introvert tendencies. And so these are just common things. That doesn't mean that just because you don't identify with one or two of the things I said, it doesn't mean you're not an introvert. These are just common things. All right, let's talk about introvert advantage number 8. Think before speaking. Now, that sounds like a statement, but that is one of the many advantages of being an introvert. Some, even other introverts, feel like introverts are quiet. Sometimes people feel that introverts are not intelligent, or they just simply take too long to respond. But for many introverts, speaking does not come easily. Because of their advantages as an introvert, they can learn, though, to become great speakers. But they are often uncomfortable. And it takes them a good deal of effort to craft the right words. And you don't want to interrupt them while they're crafting those words, because they're putting all their time and energy, their focus, 100% of their resources into crafting the right message. They do want people to listen, but they will go on just fine even if they don't, although they will be a little bit bothered. But if it's a spouse, they can get quite upset when they feel like they have crafted a meaningful and beneficial message and they weren't listened to in the same way they feel like they listen. Now, whether they do or don't, they feel like they are listening with an intent to understand. And when someone who is close to them doesn't do that same thing, an introvert can get pretty upset about it. All right. I know that it may seem that for some introverts, you may have observed some introverts whose speaking seems to come naturally for them. Let's talk about that for just a moment. Even those introverts who come across as good speakers, it is difficult for them. They have just consciously developed ways where there are fewer identifiable tells. Now, how do they do that? Well, they know what to look for in others. So therefore, they have learned what behaviors to avoid to make it appear that they're good. But part of being an introvert is being calm. So therefore, they have that advantage. Introverts do feel more comfortable when listening than when speaking. When they do speak, they have the intention of crafting their words so that their words sound intelligent, so that their words have impact. When making a post on social media, an introvert may spend twice as long, maybe a ton longer, because they're trying to craft the right message. They're trying to use the right words. They're likely to consult a thesaurus or go online to find a better way of describing what it is they are trying to convey. If you're an introvert who is going to be doing some type of speaking or crafting some kind of message, here's a suggestion. When you go into a situation where you're going to need to speak, now this could be all different. This could be public speaking. You're up in front of a group. This could be in a room where you just know you're going to be talking to other people. Prepare what you need to say ahead of time. Know what it is that you need to say. If you're in a committee meeting and you know you need to say something, prepare to speak first. Because of all that mulling that's going on in your mind, that you're trying to think of other ways or better ways to say it, but also you're concerned about how other people feel about what you're about to say. If you don't go first, could very easily talk yourself out of speaking at all. So keep those things in mind. Keep those things in mind. All right. Next introvert advantage, number 9, quality friends. This goes along the lines of introverts are observant. Add to that feeling that some people and some groups of people can seriously drain an introvert's energy. Now, there are some people who drain everybody's energy. So that is certainly not limited to an introvert, but I am talking about just the introverts at this point, at this time. So the fact that introverts are observant, add to that feeling that some people and some groups can seriously drain our energy. Introverts may either be picky when choosing friends, get close with just those who are in their environment, and keep relationships going for a long time. Or in some extreme instances, an introvert may not form any relationships at all. That is an extreme. That's not the norm. But an introvert has no intention of building a huge group of friends. Acquaintances, sure, but only a handful of close friendships. It's kind of like they have their own board of directors or their own inner circle. They may come across as shy-natured, but they can be passionate, enthusiastic, and talkative, just like an extrovert, when in the presence of someone they feel comfortable with, or some place they feel comfortable in, or a subject they feel comfortable talking about. Introverts as friends are loyal, they're appreciative, they're dependable, they're concerned with the well-being of their friends, and they want to exchange observances and they want to share stories with them. Introverts make great friends. When they're not around their friends, they may seem very quiet. When they're around their friends, they may or may not be. Same thing with a subject they're very confident in. They will talk more. They morph into extroverts at times. So that was introvert advantage number 9, quality friends. So let's move into introvert advantage number 10. And number 10 is self-motivating. Introverts aren't doing the things they do because they need to show off or have something to talk about at their next social or business networking event. They do what they do because it feels right. They feel a self-motivating push to do the things that they're doing. They don't need someone else to tell them to do what they do. They do it because it just feels right. They don't need outside direction in order to remain focused. And even if they do, even if they don't know what to do, they focus their attention often without asking anyone for help. They figure things out for themselves. They are more likely to not only work things out in their mind, but create a repeatable system so that they don't deal with the uncomfortableness and uncertainty of not knowing what to do. You don't see them dealing with the same problems over and over again because they create repeatable systems to get past that. They're very uncomfortable with that. They do things to get rid of uncomfortableness. Unless they're a leader of a team, they work better alone than when in a team. But they really do well as the leader of a team. I'll come back to that when I talk about the final advantage, number 12. All right, introvert advantage, number 11. Introverts are good at building business relationships. I mentioned this before on advantage number 2, when I said that an introvert can get so passionate about their ideas that the introvert, morphs into an extrovert. But even though they are willingly, even enthusiastically attending, say, networking events, they do it differently. Introverts, even with a fantastic idea, feel anxiety when they're in a larger group. When the group is to, let's say, meet and greet, to make a good first impression, they feel anxiety. It's difficult. But here is where they differ. They use their natural ability to create solid relationships, to get to know a small number of people. An extrovert, if they don't get to move around the room and visit with people, feel anxiety. An extrovert's not bothered by this. An introvert is not bothered by this. Their goal is to build solid relationships with a small number of people. Not to be a social butterfly, not to get to everyone. Their goal is quality conversation with just a small handful of people, maybe even just one. They are fantastic listeners with an ability to empathize. Therefore, even if they only visit with a small number of people at a networking event, they are happy because they're forming lasting relationships. Now let's move to advantage number 12. Compassionate leadership. When channeling their natural strengths of listening, observation, and empathy, introverts make great leaders because they have little need for personal attention and are excited to share the credit with others of their successes. They are very unlikely to say, "That was me, I did that," or "Why didn't you give me credit for that? Why didn't you say my name?" An introvert doesn't do that. That is not something they do. They don't want the attention. They want the end result to be positive. But they absolutely positively do not want the attention. It's not that they don't want to be recognized for the good things they do. They want that. But they don't need it. They're going to continue to do what they do without it. Because their motivation doesn't come from outside. It comes from inside. Hence the word introvert. When those who are on a team feel appreciated, they tend to be more motivated, giving more of their time and attention, and sticking around. Perfect for an introvert who is in a leadership position. Since introverts take time to process a lot of information, they often get to know their team better. They know the team's individual skills, interests, areas that are in need of improvement. And they use this information to help each team member in the way that is beneficial to them. They are good at considering points of view, even when making other people's points of view, even when they're making important decisions. Introverts make great leaders. They aren't often thought of as that, though, because a lot of people in leadership positions, at least the stereotype, are the extroverts, the ones that are loud, the ones when some individual in their team accomplishes something, claims it as their own, even when asked specifically, they will still claim it as their own. Whereas the introvert loves sharing the the accolades, the successes. They appreciate that. They want everyone to feel appreciated. All right. Those are the 12 advantages of being an introvert. And as you can see, introverts have some major advantages in life and in business. Introverts are great listeners. Just in review, introverts are great listeners. This means that when you're networking or meeting with potential clients, you're more likely to really hear what they're saying and understand their needs. As a result, together you can better tailor your portrait services to meet their vision. We all do business differently. There is no one right way for everyone, and that's a great thing. But I'm going to share with you real quickly how I do the first part of what I do, and that's meeting with a client. When I visit with a client, I prefer, so let me back up a step. I specialize in emotional family portraits as home decor. So in order to do that, that's a goal in addition to a statement. I do my planning session in their home so that I can observe the environment, so that I can hear them, and so that they're in a comfortable place to be heard. And when I'm in that environment, I can see exactly where that print on the wall is going to be displayed. I know whether it's going to be horizontal or vertical. I know what the appropriate size is. I'm unaffected by whether a 16 by 20 is large or small. It's an irrelevant variable. In fact, one of my mentors says, never mention a dimension. The only thing that's appropriate in printing is the appropriate size for the space it's going to be displayed in. If you don't know where that image is going to be displayed, how will you know what's appropriate? And you're supposed to be the pro. You should know what's appropriate. Now, I'm not saying that everyone needs to go to their clients' homes. I am saying, though, that if you are going to print custom work, that you might consider, totally up to you, you do business your way, but at least consider knowing the end result. Where's it going to go? So that you can give appropriate recommendations. You're listening. You're observing. You are being empathetic. You are hearing them. You're listening with the intent to understand so that you can give good recommendations. You're thoughtful. And you make something happen that most other photographers not only don't do, but have never even so much as considered. Introverts are thoughtful. They're deliberative. This means that when you're making decisions about your business, you're likely to take time to really think things through and weigh all the options. As a result, you're less likely to make rash decisions and experience later regret. Introverts tend to be good at creating and sticking to routines. It's a major advantage when it comes to running a business, because it means you're less likely to get derailed by unexpected challenges, which you are going to face, which you probably already have many, many times. Instead, you'll have a plan for how to deal with whatever comes up so that you can keep moving forward towards your goals. As introverts, We know the challenges that come with trying to feel comfortable in a world that seems designed for extroverts. But today, armed with the 12 advantages you just heard, your self confidence as an introvert just got a major boost. These advantages help you step out of your comfort zone and into a life that feels more authentic, more true to you. And when we all feel confident, we contribute to making the world a we contribute to making the world a kinder, gentler place for everyone. So, if you guys have any comments or questions about any of the things that I just said, or maybe didn't say, I want you to post it in the comments. Make a comment, ask a question. I'm going to go over to the comments real quick. Hey, Jero, glad you're here. So I hope that those of you who feel like introverts now see the advantage that an introvert brings to a business and to life. We need all types. And I see being an introvert as an advantage. And I hope you do too. So I'm going to bring on Amanda, and I'm curious as to what her thoughts are on this. So let's bring Amanda on. Hi, Amanda.
Oh my gosh, my thoughts are you're describing me. I've always self identified as an extroverted introvert. So I thought that was very strange to hear all the things. I was like, yeah, that's me. That's me. I get anxiety in groups of people, but I love to host parties to bring people together. I'm like, that's me. That's great.
Love
So
it.
thanks for highlighting my people.
Of course. Of course. That was fun to do the research on this one. I mean, I uh, a lot of the things that I share on the Portrait Profit Show are things that I deal with regularly because they're directly business related. This is directly business related, but it's really not something I spent a whole lot of time in research
Yeah.
before. And so I probably read maybe 7 or 8 different opinions on it from people who are, well, they had doctor before their name, so I assume that means they know something about the subject.
Hopefully.
And I definitely found a lot of things that I totally expected to find, and a handful of things that I was surprised to find. It's kind of an eye-opening subject,
What was most
even for me
surprising to
today.
you?
Uh, how I fit even more into introvert than I thought I did. Yeah. So now I know that I'm an introvert. I'm well aware of this, but I thought I had extrovert tendencies.
Yeah.
And I do. I do, but they're still part of being an introvert. It's the caveat is the being excited about ideas that I hadn't considered before. So our ideas as introverts really get us going. We are self-motivated by that stuff. That is what lights the fire under us, is those ideas, these fantastic ideas, these epiphanies that we have. We're like, yes, and we are just all of a sudden, boom, filled with energy. It's, I don't know, I've never taken drugs, but it's probably like that, where you just have this boost of energy where you've got to move forward with this exciting idea, and it causes you to do things that would be in the extrovert category.
Yeah.
So that's how I think some introverts are sometimes miscategorized, because they have just done what it takes to further their idea, which still falls in the realm of introvert. That was interesting to me. I think that was the most eye-opening thing that I learned in doing this research.
No, I think I'd have to agree. When I heard that part of it, and you said it's passion that motivates the introvert and gives them that energy, right? That, yeah, That's absolutely true. 100% true.
Love it.
So that's great.
Well, uh, we didn't get a chance to visit ahead of time, so let me visit with you real quick. Did you have a great weekend,
We
or is
did.
it crazy busy?
It was a very busy weekend, busier than I anticipated, but busy's good. And we just keep moving forward and getting stuff done, so it's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
We as you know, had the fourth annual San Antonio Youth Photography Tournament just yesterday, and it was fun. There were the room was full. Of course, it was kids and their parents, but the room was full, and it was exciting. Everything went mostly smoothly. We finished only a little bit later than I wanted to finish by 3. We finished by 3:30, so I think we're good. I think we're perfect. We had fantastic volunteers, fantastic judges who are also in the volunteer category, and the parents were great. So we had fantastic prizes. Digital Pro Lab, just for you guys who are watching who don't know, donated a ton of stuff to the tournament. They donated lots of gift cards for the kids to be able to print their work. And for some of these kids, they've never seen their work printed. I bet for some adults, they've never seen their work printed.
Yeah.
To me, that's pretty sad, and I bet to Amanda, it's pretty sad too.
Yeah, no, I mean that's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about, taking that photo taker and helping them become a printmaker, make something of that. And if we can hit it at all categories, all ages and all industries, that's what I want to do. So that's what we
Love
do.
it. Love it. I'm
Especially the
looking
kids,
at
they love creating stuff. I mean, they have fun with it, and they're even more creative than some of the creatives I work with. Their brains are not molded and shaped quite by the world in that way, the rules and things. So they have a
That's
more open
very
mind.
true. That is so true. In fact, that reminds me when I'm teaching a Photo 101 class, I don't allow kids under 15 in my Photo 101 class. And the reason is because they learn too quickly. They just throw off the group dynamic. And when you have them go to their camera, they're holding their camera, and I ask them a question. Well, I talk about shutter speeds and where to find that on your camera and the dial to change it, and then I ask them to turn the dial, and so they can see the extremes. What's the slowest possible shutter speed, and what's the fastest possible shutter speed? Everybody gets of any age gets the fast shutter speed. They go right straight to 4,000th of a second or 8,000th of a second, no problem. But on the opposite end, adults are showing their filter because they stop at 1 second and they start questioning it, and they don't keep on scrolling until it stops on its own. But the kids do. The
Like, what
kids
is
just
this
go
button do?
and go to one side and go to the other side, and they answer the question, write it down. They're right. All right, what's next?
Yeah, that's smart. You gotta love them.
It's yeah. So it's not that I won't teach those. I won't teach kids. I just need to do them more as a private, a one-on-one.
Yeah,
Just because they all learn at a different pace. Adults, because of our filters, we learn slowly. We don't realize it, but we learn slowly.
yeah, and to the point of having to retrain our brains, especially in the creative world, to kind of think outside the box and be a little bit more imaginative and creative outside the rules of what we've learned is really tough. And I know I've been trying to train my own brain in the area of photography. I've been shooting kind of dissected photographs recently to try and figure out a new way of seeing things, and it's actually helped in some of the product creation we're doing. So I'm excited. That's my tip for today. If you haven't tried to think outside the box or struggling, um, think like a 15 or younger person.
Yeah, yeah.
Try to untrain yourself from the rules. Yeah,
That's great advice. Maybe easier said than done, but
I know.
it's the right frame of mind. It's right. I totally agree with it.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that. So, do you have some additional things that you wanted to share with us today?
Yes, so I definitely wanted to add a promo code on here. Let's see. So we've extended that metal 30 promo code. So that's for any metal panel print that we offer here at Digital Pro Lab. So we offer several different sizes. If you haven't ordered metal before, I really, really encourage you to try it. It's not your standard photographic print. It's it doesn't require a frame. It's freestanding. You can just hang it directly to the wall. We also have some of the smaller metal panel prints, which come with easels. So it's a very versatile product. And then we offer different substrates. So your white metal, your silver metal, which can be a little bit more creative. So those are those kind of outside the box ideas that you kind of want to train your mind to see a little bit differently what a print can be. And if you're not familiar with metal prints, I encourage you to go to our website at digitalprolab.com. We've got some great sample images on there for you to really see the thickness, learn about the product itself, the material that it's made out of. There's some suggestions on there for what photography would be great on a metal print, especially on a silver metal print. Most people don't give it the time of day because it's kind of outside the box. But metal panel prints, especially for black and white prints, are actually pretty exciting to use, or even just using text. Sometimes when you're trying to decorate your studio space or your office space, you're trying to think of different things that you can create with. And the metal panel print, when you're adding your logo or something like that on a silver metal, it really makes it pop, and it's pretty exciting. So use that code, think outside the box, and then I'm excited to see what you come up with. So there's that. Let's see. Jim, I think that's pretty much the gist of what I've got going on today. There's always lots of stuff coming up, and I know we're planning our Photo Septiembre exhibit that's coming at the end of August. We have let's see, we've got a couple of other events. I'm not totally ready to announce them quite yet, but they're coming. So we've got some things.
Yay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. This promo code for 30% off metal panel prints. Metal is, I agreed, it's fantastic. It isn't the right thing for everything, but when just try it, take advantage of this 30% off. If you've never printed on metal before, take advantage of this special, and experience it. You are definitely going to be impressed. It is super cool. Of course, you're going to use it where appropriate, but experience it so that you can feel it, so that you can touch it. It's your work. It's something that you're proud of that you can share with others. Maybe you give it as a gift to someone else so they can share it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see Miguel actually has a comment here. He says metal, not metallic. That's actually a really great point to bring up because we do have two different products. We have our traditional metal prints, which are actually printed on aluminum. So that's what we're talking about when we say metal panel print. But then we also have a metallic paper, and it's what we call here at Digital Pro Lab our premium metallic paper. We've actually elevated that product, and now it's printed with our high resolution inkjet printers. So you actually have a lot more color latitude now that's available through an inkjet process versus a silver halide process. So we've added that to our product line, and we're really excited about showing you that as well. And that's already ready to go. But yes, Miguel, you're absolutely right. There's a difference between a metal print and a metallic print. Metallic print is a traditional print versus a metal panel print is actually printed on aluminum. So thanks for mentioning that. I should have known to mention that, but Miguel, you're always looking out for me. So thanks for that.
That's right. Miguel looks out for all of us photographers. He's
I'm curious
he.
if he's an introvert as well.
That's a good question. I wonder what he feels about that. Uh, he was very helpful, big time at the tournament yesterday. He was behind the scenes. He was doing the certificates and several other things, just keeping up with, and that's a huge job. That's one of the more stressful jobs as a volunteer, is getting those things done and out because our tournament is an instant gratification tournament, meaning they have nothing when they begin, and they leave with everything at the end. There's not a popularity contest to see how many likes you can get. They get the list of categories at the beginning. They go out and photograph them. They turn them in. The judges do their thing. We announce the winners. We hand out all of the certificates for the winners and hand out all of the prizes. So it's a done deal. It's a one and done. Kind of a thing. And so we definitely want to thank all of our volunteers. And since Miguel asked that great question, I'm highlighting him for just a moment and thanking him. Thank you, Miguel. You did awesome yesterday, and the others did too. I'm not taking away from anyone else.
It was
So
a
I
group
just
effort.
just took advantage of him making that comment to say something about him, because I definitely appreciate volunteers. Without volunteers, these tournaments they can't happen. There were a total of 22 volunteers that made it happen, and even one fewer, and it would have been
Chaos.
difficult. We needed everybody.
That's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
glad it went so well.
Oh, I
I'm really
appreciate you
excited.
saying that, Miguel. All right. I I want to share the upcoming the let me put it on here, the upcoming classes, or the upcoming shows. And so each week on at noon, you know what? I want to get rid of that temporarily. Your banner. How do I get rid of your banner? There we go. Uh, each week we get together for the Portrait Prophet show at noon on Mondays. And so let's talk about a couple of the upcoming shows that we have. 1 week from today, we'll be talking about confidence. You know, the things that we learned in today's episode, the 12 advantages of being an introvert. Knowing these and using these is a confidence booster, and there's several things that we can add to our lives to increase that confidence. So even if so, extroverts, it seems like they have plenty of confidence, but not all experts have the confidence that you think they have. That's a stereotype. And it's true in a lot of instances. It's true in all the instances you've observed, because it fits. But not all extroverts are going to get up and be loud and be on top of things, because they gain their energy from outside, how other people think. There are times when they are overwhelmed by the feeling of how other people think, and they shut down. There are extroverts who are quiet, just like there are introverts who aren't quiet because they're passionate.
That's
So
awesome.
the being out in the community, out in the crowd, being seen, is not a way to define whether someone's introverted or extroverted. It just doesn't have anything to do with that. It's not one of the variables. But we are going to be talking about confidence and how it is learned. So next week is confidence is a skill. That's July 25th, and guess what? That's our 75th show. 75. We've been working together for a while on this, Amanda.
I can't even wrap my head around that. Oh my gosh.
75 shows. We started February 2021, and our second show was, well, it didn't happen because of Snowmageddon, or whatever you want
Oh
to
yeah,
call it.
that's
No
right.
electricity. And so I don't know about you, but my thought was, I'm not into this is a sign of something to come. But if you were into signs, your second show might not happening because because it snowed out in San Antonio. Might be one of those signs saying this won't work. But we're at episode number 75 next week, so clearly we got past whatever sign that was.
Yeah, and clearly you had the confidence needed. Like
Yeah, there you go.
the confidence to get past all of that and get to the 75th show. So kudos to you for
Love
that.
it. I love it. That's great. So put that on your calendar. Confidence is a skill. And then the week after that, on August 1st, yeah, we're almost past July already. I can't believe that. I mean, oh, all right. So August 1st is people pleasers. Introverts are often people pleasers, but there's a lot of extroverts that are people pleasers too. Photographers, a lot of us are people pleasers. Whether we're introverts or extroverts, a lot of us are people pleasers. This is a good thing, but too much of a good thing, it's not always a good thing. So we're going to be talking about people pleasers. We're going to enhance the things that are good. We're going to identify them. And we're going to identify those things that a people pleaser does that are not beneficial to you. even though they may feel beneficial. We'll analyze it, we'll go over it. And then our next panel is on August 8th, where we'll be talking about what I do for my clients. Now, that's not what everybody does, press the shutter button. That's the things in addition to that that photographers do for their clients, the little things. And that's going to be different for each individual panelist. And so the answers to these questions may be quite different than answers you've heard in past panels, because this is a very open thing. What you do for your clients is something that you do because you feel it's right, because you feel that the relationship is going to be benefited by these things. They could be physical things, they could be things that you do or say. So we'll talk about those when we talk about what I do for my clients. Does that sound like a good one?
They all sound very good. I love all your classes.
I love it. All
My
right.
favorites are the panels too, so I always look
Mm-hmm.
forward to the panels. That's where we get additional feedback on and different
Panels,
perspectives. It's the different perspectives I think I enjoy the most.
me too.
Because no people have exactly the same idea about any one thing, and really you're going to have a different idea as a listener comparatively to what you're hearing, and you're going to develop from that. So I think it's good.
That's right. By the way, for those of you who are watching, if you want to be a panelist, reach out to me and let me know. My email address is jim@landersphotoschool.com. Jim@landersphotoschool.com. Just reach out to me. If you've got thoughts and ideas on subjects that you would like to hear us cover and talk about, reach out to me and let me know. Did you want to tell them about that survey?
Yeah, I was actually just copying it. Let me go ahead and
For some reason, I thought that's what you were thinking when I said
that's
that.
it's because we're mind melding, I think. Okay, so I'm going to post in the comments real quick. I'm doing this right. There we go. So our survey is actually live, and hopefully it goes through. Yeah, there it goes. All right, so I put the survey in the comments. So really, Jim and I really want your feedback on, how you're enjoying our Portrait Profit sessions, making sure that the topics are engaging, time, that we're actually spending sitting here working with you on some of these great advice, the speaking engagements, all of that good stuff. So it's a quick survey. It's literally like 3 questions. It's not going to take very long, but we'd appreciate your feedback if you'll go ahead and take that survey for us, because that gives us, information that we need to kind of continue through the next 75 episodes that we're going to be having. So if you can do that for us, we'd appreciate it.
That's right. I like your confidence.
On a Monday morning.
That's right. Ah, all right. Well, I, I have a couple more things I'm going to share before I close it out, but is there anything you wanted to share before I do that?
No, I think everybody, I want you to have a good week. Be confident, be productive. Come see us at Digital Pro Lab if you want to come hang out, get new ideas. It's always a good time to start the week. I mean, for us, we've got seasons, and July, August are traditionally a little bit slower. So this is a good time, for you, even as photographers. It's so hot outside. I know not a lot of people want to get out there and shoot, but now is a great time to actually come into the lab and see what we offer, come up with new ideas with us, and you'll be ready for 2023 kickoff. So hopefully you do that. Take advantage of it.
I agree. Thank you so much, Amanda.
No problem. Thank you, Jim, as always.
Thank you for all the things that you and your team are doing to support us photographers, uh, helping us with confidence, helping us with beautiful images, and really being our heroes. Thank
I
you.
try.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks.
All right. So I want to invite you guys to lunch. Every week on Tuesday, I take a photographer to lunch with me, and this link that you're seeing right here is how to do it. So let me put that in the comments real quick so that you don't have to write it out. There we go. So just that should be popping up in your news feed right now. This is a link to my calendar. so that you can schedule lunch with me. So the only thing you have to do is schedule the lunch and show up. I'm paying for it. So don't worry about that. It's going to be at the Dominion, so it's going to be a really good lunch. So take advantage of that. If anyone who's watching right now has been on Lunch with Landers, put a comment in there for me, just so that if those who are unsure as to what it is, or if they want to take advantage of it, or what that means, give them a comment. Tell them it's a good thing if you feel it was a good thing. If you feel it wasn't, well, then tell them that. Give them the truth. All right. So, and the next thing is I want to encourage you guys to take advantage of my free 30-minute business consultation. This is totally free. I'm not charging a dime for this. It's something I really only want you to do once a year, because I can get overwhelmed with these. But take advantage of this. I'm going to put that in the comments real quick. That way, there we go. That way you have just the link. You don't have to write it out like I have it here on the screen. Just use that link that's in the newsfeed right now. That takes you to my calendar so that you can schedule, and it's a Zoom call. So you just do it from your home, or when you're driving or picking up the kids, whatever. But we do this via Zoom because there's times when I need to share something with you, ask a question. I've got something I can share on the screen with you, and so I do this via Zoom. It's about your business. It could be about pricing. It could be about a problem that you've experienced. It could be whatever it is. But let's talk about your business. The goal. Our goal, Amanda and I, our goal is to uplift photographers. And this is one of the many ways in which I am doing this. So the business assessment consultation, it's free. Take advantage of it. All right. I hope you have enjoyed today's show. I hope that the 12 advantages of being an introvert has made an impact on you and how you feel about yourself in the world. You are wonderful. You are fantastic. Even if you don't know it. Because you possess these advantages. And when you use them, you become so much better at what it is you choose to do. You start reaching your goals. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, this is Jim Landers bringing you the weekly Portrait Profit Show, giving you evolving content, awareness, and even fun to the business side of photography through helpful information, step-by-step processes, and action steps that will help you with the struggles you deal with now, so you are constantly realigned to the path that leads to the success you deserve. Be here every Monday. Put it on your calendar so you can experience a different way of looking at the business side of photography. Thank you for investing your time here at the Portrait Profit Show. Bye for now.